are cuties. Our little babies.
So in here, it's just their OB peacock cichlids, and most of them are just OB peacock cichlids from both parents, orange, and then some of them are Reuben red OB hybrids. So I'm hoping they turn out real red.
We have a couple that have white faces. This is our second batch. Really pretty variation in this batch.
It'll take them a second, but they'll start going crazy.
Oh yeah. They can. Oh, there's one of the white face ones. Oh, cuties.
They're going for the floating plants.
They can smell the food and they're like, "This is food." So this tank was a set up tank at PetSmart, and this was also just a stand we built from PetSmart, correlating size. So not a super expensive setup, very reasonable.
No, it wasn't that at all.
No, maybe $150 for everything. Yeah.
Plants and everything.
We just needed something for all of our babies to grow out. And to keep the cats away from the fish food.
Yeah, it's the best cabinet for that too.
Yes, because it has a back on it. If that's something you are worried about or you have other animals, definitely invest in a cabinet with a back on it.
We're taking it real slow tonight.
Just one of the
All
white
for
face.
sale.
All for sale, yes. All for sale. Obviously, we will grow them out much larger than this, but yes, all of these guys will be for sale. They have beautiful parents, you'll see them in the video.
This tank has a lot of stuff in it. I'm sure a lot of people judge me for it, but it works very well. We got a pair of Severums, male and female. They're gold spotted yellow Severums. Also have a dwarf Mbuna in here, just because he does not. The other big cichlids don't really play nice with him, so he's just hanging out in here for now. Also have a couple other dwarf cichlids growing out. Sedona's catfish over there, and some gold barbs. Got everything in there.
Here is a sumo loach.
Yes.
He is super active. We have him in our 30-gallon beta tank. He's just a little too aggressive for the flowy betas. He gets along perfect with the semi-aggressive fish. So
Yeah.
he's just the level of this tank. We have a crebensis in here as well. I just saw pop into the video for a second.
Those guys ate through that fast, so I'm giving them a little more. These guys are really good about the hand feeding. Severums know exactly what is up.
We used to have 6 barbs. They were in a different tank before the move.
Nice little tank. Lighting setup's a little janky right now, but it works.
Yeah, the plants aren't doing so nice with the lighting, but all the fish deserve to have a little bit of vegetation.
One's going with tube effects for the feed. Best for the hand feeding.
Okay, so let's talk about what's in this tank, because it's very controversial.
So this is a 30-gallon mixed beta sorority tank that also has some male betas in it. And yeah, it's kind of controversial. A lot of people will tell you not to put betas in the same tank, but this tank works great. All the beta are really happy. We have some other stuff in there, like some yo-yo loaches, as well as some peacock gudgeons. Wow. We also have a single female killifish, and she just stole all the food from me, like she loves to do. But it's a really fun tank. I love looking at it. The beta are they all just have their own personalities. And they're
Let's
very
see if I
fun to
can find a
watch.
hillstream loach, because they're
Yes,
pretty
there
interesting.
are also the Hillstream loaches. There's one over here on this wall. Who's behind that thing?
There are 2, so let's wait for the other guy to make his appearance. I saw one a second ago.
But we have a lot of betas in here that have really nice color, in my opinion. Most of these betas did in fact come from PetSmart. Our PetSmart honestly gets really nice betas.
Hillstream loaches almost look like a miniature stingray. It's like an inch long and looks like a stingray. I don't know where the second one is right now.
Move this hide a little bit.
Oh, there's one. Yes.
They're also fantastic algae eaters, like one of the best in my opinion.
Yes,
They
this
make a serious
driftwood-
dent.
Yes, this is what they eat off of all the time, this driftwood. They love it.
Peacock gudgeons, I really like those fish. They're really fun to watch too.
That's one of the males. We got a couple koi betas. They're probably my favorite. We have an orange, a red, and a yellow. My cat. The yellow one is the female, correct?
No, the yellow one's a male. It's this one in the
It's
back.
the
this
orange
small
one.
Yeah, that's the female.
So we're almost at even numbers of male and female in this tank at this point.
Yeah, we are getting pretty close. One thing I will say is that I think in this particular situation, flowy fin betas, males that is, do not do as well. I have one in there, but for the most part, they tend to get a lot more beat up than everyone else. So
Yeah,
I
you
try and
can see
stick to
that
half
there's a
moon
little nip.
plackets, stuff like that has shorter fins, and it all works really well, honestly. I never see beta fighting or anything like that. They're really peaceful.
We kill the fish, get some footage of her.
We also have the freshwater clam in here.
Oh yes,
He does
shark
really
tooth
well.
clam. He doesn't look like he is alive or a real thing, but you can see his tooth come out all the time, or his foot, not his tooth. Same thing. Yeah, he recently moved himself. We just sat him on the gravel and he completely buried himself. Oh, there's a Hillstream loach.
This is all our lady peacock cichlids. They're in here right now because haven't quite decided which male is going to breed with who and stuff like that. So just have everyone separated. But we have a lot of different females in here. We have 4 dragon blood peacock females, pink coloration. We have a female OB compressiceps, which we just recently found out was a female actually. Very excited to make some fancy compressiceps babies with her. And then we just have OB peacock female, and then Reuben red peacock female.
We also have a female Mbuna
Yes.
in this
I
tank,
forgot
the
about that.
orange.
Orange zebra and Buna. She doesn't really play nice with the other guys, so she's just hanging out in here right now. We also have some Placos in here.
Butterfly Placo.
Yeah, they're hiding right now. We have a regular Placo who is pretty decent size.
This is another batch of baby peacocks.
Yes, lots of baby peacocks.
How old do you think this batch is?
Probably like a month and a half or so. They're still pretty young. We have some pretty nice females. I'm very happy
This
with
sword
the group.
plant is really beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's like our best sword plant.
Currently.
Not the craziest tank setup, but it's just going to be the breeding tank soon. So the decor is not like crazy designed or anything like that.
Just some bonus crayfish footage on the heater over here.
Oh, nice.
Got some crayfish living in our piranha tank, actually. They just hang out in that log. This is Frankie. It's about 9 years old. It's a red belly piranha. Just a little bonus footage of him right now. He's pretty shy. He doesn't eat very well when people are down here.
So here is our puffers. The dwarf puffers.
Good eaters.
Very good eaters. They're picky though. They'll pretty much only eat frozen bloodworms, freeze-dried bloodworms. They won't even eat brine shrimp for me.
Yeah. They like expensive food. But it's not the worst.
No.
They're super fun to have. You can see the male off to the left by himself and the two females. Is this brine shrimp and bloodworm mix?
Yeah, there's a little bit of brine shrimp. I like this tank a lot. My only complaint though is where it's sitting, because it's really hard to get in here and like mess with the plants and stuff. Haven't really rescaped this tank since we set it up.
So I got a bunch of floating stuff
Yeah.
stuck to the filter.
Exactly. I need to move it at some point.
What is that? Moneywort? Is that what that plant is?
Which one? The small one?
Yeah.
That's Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo.
It's doing alright. I need to trim it up. Mochi. So this is our next cichlid tank. African cichlid.
75 gallon.
Yes. Got a lot of different stuff in here. Mostly peacocks, a couple haps, stuff like that. I don't have any Abuna. These guys are usually really good about the hand feeding too. But got a couple OBs. Reuben Red Peacock. Got a little baby, what's his name? Calvus cichlid. Growing him out, he's the newest addition. These fish are really used to me though. I hand feed them all the time. Can even pet them and stuff. They're not the biggest fan, but they deal with it for the food. Ow. Give them a little bloodworm and stuff too.
It's a really pretty tank setup.
Yeah, this is the tank. I worked really hard on this tank to make it look good. This is probably my favorite tank. Also got a
Rainbow shark?
Rainbow shark, yeah. I always get them mixed up. He
Red-
does great in here too.
Red tail sharks are very similar. They just don't have the red fins.
And let's see, we got a baby sunshine peacock. Like I said, a bunch of different OBs. I really like them. Get close up on this guy. He's really cool.
The Calvus?
Yeah, the Calvus cichlid. He's just a tiny baby, but he's doing really good in here.
When he flares up his fins, he looks so crazy.
It's true.
He's so tiny compared to some other fish.
I know. Love this tank though. Love me some cichlids. They're real fun to watch and everything. Great fish. Recommend cichlids. 10 out of 10.
Really pretty colors. You can have all kinds of colors with cichlids. Blue, red, you can go for all yellow.
In my opinion, it's some of the prettiest freshwater fish you can get. Yeah, they're feisty too.
Those two don't like each other so much. It's like they're the same, so there can't be both of them in this tank. They're like too similar. But they're okay.
Yeah, everyone's doing really well since we upgraded them to this tank.
Some of these were in our 60 gallon at our old house. This guy's just a little more orange. Both beautiful fish.
Just get some good footage of the babies.
Oh,
There's
yes.
some real good ones.
Which one is that one? One of our friends?
This one right here is.
Mhm.
Yeah. He hasn't been showing his colors as much since he got in here. I think it's because he's so small, but he was real bright red when he was in the baby tank. But he's been doing really well.
Mhm.
I'm hoping his colors will pop out soon.
Angels and friends.
Angels know all about food. They're very with the program.
And they're so friendly.
They are.
They're not from the same place, but as soon as we put them in together, they just became best friends. Love each other. What else we got in here?
So we got the two angels. We have a pair of German Ram cichlids. One here, one here. Then we have a pair of the Gold Ram cichlids. They're much smaller right now. Then we have 3 American flagfish in here. There's one right here. These are pretty cool little guys. You don't see them very often. Very weird little fish, but I like them a lot. Also have our boy, the rope fish. He is one of the faves in this tank. He's really cool to watch eat.
He hunts in the sand.
He was only eating bloodworms when we first got him, but I've got him to where he's eating pellet foods and stuff now. I still like to give him a lot of bloodworms because I know it's good for him.
Very friendly, not a skittish fish at all.
One of the only fish that just like is always down to let me touch him. He does not really care. We also have 2 bristlenose plecos in here. This one is a albino longfin bristlenose. Then we also have a chocolate bristlenose somewhere. They're both pretty small still.
Catfish as well.
Yes, and then we have the hybrid catfish. I'm not completely sure of the 2 species he's a hybrid of, but he is really awesome. I'm very excited to see him get big. Oh, and then we have the pearl gourami. He just likes to hang out up the top. He's really cool though.
Very beautiful
I love
fish.
pearl gouramis.
Is in the worst lighting, but very beautiful.
I like this
Koi
thing a lot.
betas? One is a koi beta blushing. The other guy is, what would you categorize him as?
That guy?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Quick
I'm not,
guy,
I'm
that's
not
for
sure
sure.
exactly what the term, but I'm guessing he's like a Dalmatian koi or something like that.
Both blushing.
Panda koi, maybe. He totally looks like he's starting to get some more orange, though, I think. He's getting a little tint of it to him.
Little buddies. They love each other.
I like this tank a lot.
60 gallon was our original large tank. It's our newest tank setup. Very pretty setup. It's aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion.
Getting him a little veggie flake, too.
Oh, here comes the gourami. Oh, she doesn't want me. Some healthy plants in this tank as well.
Yes, I'm very excited to see them all grow out.
These fish are just a whole lot less aggressive towards the plants.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Never replant anything in this tank. I actually have some special order plants in this tank. Marble Queen. I love variegated plants, so this is kind of for me. I love these guys.
Then we've got some ruffle swords.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember what this other stuff is. It's really similar to Java Fern, but it's slightly different. But it looks almost
Just
exactly the same.
crinkly
Yeah,
plants.
it's a little lighter colored, which I like about it.
Just something different. We have a lot of plants in our tank, so anything that looks a little different, we are like, okay, fine, we'll put it in something. He's gonna get huge. They are so small right now.
I noticed the chocolate. I saw him today, and he has grown a pretty significant amount.
Mochi. Always have spectators in the fish room.
Ready to do the goldfish real quick?
Oh yeah.
The goldfish, I have not quite got hand-fed trained yet. They'll do it a little bit, but they're a lot more wary of the hand currently. Also, I'd like to note that I always try and keep my hands very clean before I stick them in my tank like this. I always make sure to get my hands nice and rinsed beforehand.
Yeah, we don't put oil or soap or anything like that in our tanks. All of our fish are healthy. Yada yada yada. This guy is my dream fish. It might sound crazy to you that your dream fish is a goldfish, but this is exactly what I wanted in a fish, down to the color pattern. So He is my favorite. He doesn't have a name yet. Everyone else in this tank has a name. He needs a name still. Golf ball, Aranda, pearl scale.
These guys are so funny to watch eat. See, this guy's really good about hand feeding. He'll always come up. And then usually the red cap will too.
Red cap, chocolate Aranda. Got some butterfly tail goldfish. Gary and Larry are their names.
They do not like pets.
They do not like pets. Couldn't tell you how old they are. They're much older than the other goldfish. The two Arandas and the pearl scale and the calico goldfish are all of our purchases after we had gotten these two guys as rescues. We just needed some friends.
Do want to upgrade this tank to a
Yes.
much larger tank at some point.
Also plan on doing an on-property pond at some point, so some of these guys might end up in our pond.
Yes.
Especially Gary, because he's
That's
so
what I was
big.
thinking.
He would love a pond. Good eaters.
Yes.
Also, just a tip, if you have fancy goldfish, do not feed them floating food because it can be pretty detrimental to their swim bladder. So always try to feed your goldfish sinking food. Something some people might not be aware of.
And I mean, you can still feed them flakes. I usually just put them in the water because if you drop the flakes on the surface, they'll float. But if you kind of just dip them in the water, they'll all sink and the goldfish can still eat them. So it's not like you just can't feed them that stuff. You just kind of got to know. Some foods will always float. Can't really do that stuff.
Just some happy, cute goldfish. Sweet guys. No aggression level. Like, I don't think they would even know how to be aggressive towards each other. It's just like, if you want a fish that's just gonna live happily ever after, goldfish is what you want.